the moment where you make decisions that will trap you or set you free. I couldn't be somebody to make the grades, to get a good job, to be somebody. And slowly and gradually, I realized it's about love. It's about you. It's about your passion to do what you want to do in the moment, in the now. This is not time. This is eternal. And yes, I'm very passionate about not being serious. I'm very passionate about I want to see the world where the global heart is awakened. That is what team I'm on. And it's not too late because it's all about how you think. Wouldn't you want people to encourage each other instead of judge each other? Stop! You're all looking at me! You're judging me! No! It's an illusion! Huh? I just tricked myself. It's the moment. I just taught you nothing! Because you already know what's important. You're important! Love! Dreams! People! Relationships! Friends! Laughter! Yes! 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 Together, everybody! Together! Together! Yes! We're in it together! Whether you like it or not! So love! Here! Now!
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street. There's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe. Our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore! I want you to get up right now. Get up, go to your windows, open them, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore! Things have gotta change. Then we'll figure out what to do about the depression and the inflation and the oil crisis. But first, get up out of your chairs, open the window, stick your head out and yell, and say, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore! But first, you've gotta get mad. You've gotta say, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore! Get up, get up, get up out of your... Stick your head out the window, open it, and stick your head out and keep yelling and yell, I'm as mad as hell, I'm not gonna take this anymore! Just get up from your chairs right now, go to open it, and stick your head out and yell and keep yelling,
Keep it up. We're going to play along with the sound mu, a Chinese-Japanese word which means that which isn't a thing, a think, a thought, an idea, but reality itself. The very sound. Dig that. What is mu? How old is mu? What do you mean by mu? are you? Well then, who are you? What is you? What is I? Some people say it's this body, others the mind, the ego or the soul. But all those, body included, are names and notions. Can we experience the self directly, like a sound, a flame, or any other object? Put your hands on that mysteriously invisible thing known as your head. Keep your eyes open, easily, blinking occasionally without staring. Float easily in your lower jaw. Just stop, look, and listen. Now, let the various colors and shapes before you play with your eyes, just as you have been letting sounds play with your ears. Where are they? Out in front of your face? Or inside your brain? In the optical nervous system? Is your head in the world? Or is the world in your head? Or both? Odd, isn't it? Your eyes, as is said in the between the. Will you please stand for life? From the give your these different mantras. They will be kept up for quite long periods, say 15 to 20 minutes or more. So what I'm giving you are only samples. You can easily do this one with me. It goes like this. Allah, 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 Allah,
I'm the phone. Oh, now I'm the dude. Oh, I'm the world.
Space. It comes down to space always. Space, which nobody can define, nobody can imagine, appears to be nothing, is the foundation of the universe. But you have to become again as a child to see that. Now you know, go back to your childhood. What were the fascinating things? What's out there? What's beyond the stars? How long does it go on? And Mama said, it goes on always and always and always. The child wonders. He's excited. That this is something that never ends. Then the child asks about time. How long ago is long ago? Well, the Bible says that in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth. Well, what did God do before he did that? Well, as one person said, he sat up thinking punishments in hell for people who ask silly questions. But still, that is only a joke. And the child thinks of God going back and back and back forever, with never beginning. So in the same way we think about death. Go to sleep and never wake up. Never. Why, it would be as if you never had existed. Not only you, but everything else. Which is, of course, the way things were before you were born. You just turn it backwards. You know, how about waking up after having never gone to sleep? That's quite a thought. There's something fishy about it all. Ichthys, Jesus Christos Theou Iosso, here, the fish. So we get a funny feeling when we think those questions really through. Very funny feeling. And children, you see, love to get into that funny feeling. Children do all kinds of weird things. They like to spin around as fast as possible, so they watch suddenly the whole ground goes tilting. They do this thing with their eyes, and they go, and they make faces and test out their bodies in all sorts of funny ways, because they know with their eyes, and they go, and they make faces and test out their bodies in all sorts of funny ways, because they know from the beginning that the world is weird. A strange thing. Because everybody knows what it's all about, only they won't admit it. Being brought up is being taught not to admit it, because you know very well what's going on. But in order to find out once more as an adult, you have to become again as a child. So what does that involve? It means, ladies and gentlemen, would you please check your ideas and opinions at the door, first of all. All your philosophical and religious views, all your logic, because I say check it at the door advisedly, because you can pick it up again when you go out if you feel unsafe without it. I'm not trying to argue you out of your opinions and views. I'm merely suggesting that for the sake of an experiment, you temporarily suspend them. And view what is as if you didn't even know how to talk. Red is not red, blue is not blue. Hard is not hard, soft is not soft. Male is not male, female is not female. There is just this jazz. It will not be possible to compel yourselves into this way of looking at things, because what Buddhists call habit energy is going on. And as I talk to you, you will find yourselves thinking in a compulsive and habitual way, this is red, this is green, this is something, this is nothing, this is solid, this is space. All right, but treat those thoughts that are going on in your head in exactly the same way as if they were... See? That's all they are. Like shapes in the spray as the sea breaks on the rocks. Now, please don't get agitated that this is an anti-intellectual point of view, that this is undermining the value of logic and reason and so on. Just that we'll bring all that back later when we need it. But just for the time being, let's simplify. Close your eyes. Listen. What is? What do you really and truly, honestly, hear? Don't name it. Just as if it were music. Classical music.
When it comes to addiction and addicts, we should sympathise, but we shouldn't patronise. You know, serious drug use is a criminal offence that is committed voluntarily and for pleasure. I'm sorry, these are the facts.
Waldo, what do you think?
Mr. Monroe, are you addicted?
No.
Sorry, I mean, are you a dickhead?
I think we have to ask ourselves, what is this for? And why do we waste our time with animated trivialities like him? I mean, why?
Why?
This is just the kind of thing. Well, you see, you laugh.
They laugh at you, Limbo.
You laugh. But you are laughing at someone who won't engage, who is scared to engage, who hides behind a children's cartoon.
Who you calling a kiddie toon, fool?
I'm speaking about James Salter. It's your name, isn't it? And James Salter. This is the man who's behind all this. He's 33 years old, a man whose career can be summed up surprisingly quickly. You were in a sketch troupe that enjoyed sort of minor success about 6 years ago, and the others moved on to better things. But your main achievement seems to have been playing the part of a corn on the cob in a high-interest personal loan commercial. I notice you keep that pretty quiet. And now, of course, operating this sort of teddy bear thing, which, by the way, is easier than it looks. Anyone could do it. See, this is the thing. It's easy, what he does. Now, he mocks. And when he can't think of an authentic joke, which is actually quite often, he just swears. I think that this puppet's inclusion on this panel debases the process of debate and smothers any meaningful discussion of the issues. So I return to my original question. Is that really what this is for? He has nothing to offer, and he has nothing to say. Prove me wrong. Speak, Waldo. Please. Come on, speak up. Yeah, you see, nothing.
Oh, go fuck yourself.
Oh, it's more swearing.
You're a joke. You look less human than I do, and I'm a made-up bear with a turquoise cock. What are you? You're just an old attitude with new hair. Assuming you're my superior because I'm not taking you seriously. No one takes you seriously. That's why no one votes.
The vast majority do vote.
It's bullshit.
Surely this is enough.
You think you deserve respect.
Well, just common courtesy.
Because you went to public school and grew up believing you're entitled to everything.
Perhaps we
Ad
could get back.
hominem nonsense.
Gwendolyn Harris,
Something's got to change. No one trusts you lot. Because they know you don't give a shit about anything outside your bubble. What about your mate Gladwell, the kiddie flasher? You knew him for 20 years. Did you not know what he was like?
No, of course not.
Yeah, because you're all just front like him. Sly and pretending. And in that way, you're all the same.
Gwendolyn Harris, is all of politics a waste of time?
Well, of course, I think no.
Oh, shut up. You're worse. Seriously. She's faker than him.
For once, I find myself agreeing with Leah Monroe in that this really doesn't get us anywhere, and there isn't much point in us continuing.
Why are you here? Tell them why you're here.
If we can't have anything
Tell them
resembling
why
a
you're here. Tell them why you're here. She's here to build a showreel. I'm not kidding. That's literally it. No, she's not going to win. This is all experience to get herself on telly. She actually gives less of a shit about anyone round here than he does, because he'll actually have to represent you. Am I wrong? A career politician. Someone else less real than me, and I can do this.
Can I just make a couple of...
Oh, shut up! You pebble! What is this for? That's what you wanted to know, Mr. Monroe. And the truth is, none of us know anymore, thanks to you. What are you for? What are you for? Thank you, and good night.
Yes, you're all going to die. Didn't mean to remind you of it, but it is on your schedule. Yes, probably won't happen when you want. Usually comes along when you're not expecting. Generally, you have your stamp collection out, you know. Now? No. Just want a little time to put away your hinges, you know. No. There's a time to die, and it's okay, you know. It's really okay. Nobody wants to die. Nobody. Well, you know, most people don't want to die. Nobody wants to die. Boy, if you think being sick is no fun, dying is really a pain in the ass. Nobody wants to die. People don't mind being dead. Being dead is great. But getting dead. Nobody wants to get dead. So I hope I don't die. I wonder how often we think that, you know? It's just under the surface, isn't it? You go out for the day, going out of your house. I hope I don't die. It would really spoil the circus if I were to die. Geez, I hope I don't die. Comedians don't want to die. It's only a metaphor, but it's so true of all of us. We don't want to die out there. A comic's gonna die. I don't want to die. Jeez, I was dying out there. I was dying. It was death out there. And it was like a morgue. I don't want to die. Of course, if the comedian doesn't die, you know, if he succeeds, if he makes you laugh, then he can say, I killed him. But I killed him. So it's either me or you know. Just like on the freeway. Yeah, dying shouldn't be that bad. It shouldn't be that bad. We're all going to do it. It's one of the few fair things in life. Everybody catches it once. And dying should be fun. There should be some sort of a look ahead. I mean, after all, when you die, you're going to find out where you go. Haven't we been wondering about that a long time? Where the hell do we go? Isn't that the biggest thing we have to wonder about? Where the hell do you go? I don't know. Joe thinks he knows. I know Joe thinks he knows, but Joe don't know. Where do we go? Nobody knows. Well, I think sometimes You go where you think you're gonna go. Whatever you think you're gonna do, that's where you're probably gonna go. If you keep saying you're gonna go somewhere, chances are you might go there. You ever hear those guys say, I'm going to hell, don't pray for me. Don't pray for me, I'm going to hell. He is. You go where you want to go. I think when you die, your soul goes to a garage in Buffalo. When Monty Hall dies, you'll go behind door number 4. That's it, where you want to go. No, nobody wants to die. And you know, part of the reason we don't want to die is because of that goddamn funeral. We've seen it. We know how bad news it is. That funeral is no fun. Man, if I don't like other people's funerals, I know I'm not going to like my own. There's no way I can get behind my own funeral. I'm going to be lying there in a casket. They're going to put me in the box. They're going to put me in a convertible with a top down. You know that's embarrassing, lying there. And everybody's looking at you. You're dead. And they're looking. You're just lying there still. People coming over going. They don't know that you're lying there with short pants on and no back in your jacket. Embarrassed. And sometimes they'll come over, you know, some people, it depends on your religion and so forth, but they do come right over to the casket a lot of times and they'll go like this. And they're silent for a moment. And what they're doing while they're silent is they're subtracting their age from your age. So they get a rough estimate on what they have left. And they get up and they say, don't he look good? Don't he look good? You crazy? He's dead! I know, but he never looked that good. Oh, they say the nicest things about you. They say the nicest things when you die. Your popularity goes straight up when you die. They say the greatest things there are that can be said. They'll even make stuff up if they have to. Well, he was a real asshole, but he meant well, you know? He's a well-meaning asshole. Yes, you get so popular when you die. All the flowers you get, think of the flowers you get when you die. You get more flowers when you die than you got in your whole life. All your flowers arrive at once, too late. The guys will say, oh yeah, well you know Bill is dead, yeah, poor Bill. Poor Bill is dead, yeah. Poor Dave, yeah, poor Dave is gone. Ed, yeah, poor Ed is gone. Dan? That motherfucker is still alive, isn't he? I wish he would die so I could like him. Reincarnation is another aspect of death, and a lot of people will tell you little tales about it. Reincarnation, coming back. A lot of folks are sure of it. They can come back. You come back as something, I don't know. Does it seem right to you that it would work? I mean, mathematically, it doesn't seem to work. Because originally on this earth, we only had, well, let's say 6 people. I know we had 2, but it's a controversial number. Let's say at one time there were only 6 of us, about 6 people, 6 souls. And those 6 people died, and those souls went back to the staging area, and new people were born, and those 6 souls came back. We still only have 6 souls. Now we have 4 billion people claiming to have souls. Where are all these extra souls coming from? Someone is printing up souls. And it lowers their value. The more souls there are, the less they're worth, it would seem. Well, somebody's got to think of this shit, you know. How about the perfect murder? I've thought sometimes about the perfect murder. You know what you do? You pick up one person by the ankles and you beat another person to death with him. And they both die and there's no murder weapon. What happened here, Sergeant? Looks like a pedestrian accident to me. They must have been moving at quite a clip. Of course, if you should be caught with this perfect murder in progress or even after the fact, if you should be caught, you might wind up in death row. Death row. That's more than just fun, ain't it? I mean, this cat's there. Death row, man. Oh, well, you got that one meal, but that's not much of a consolation, is it? You're gonna get to order a meal. Big deal. Why don't you leave me alone? I'm hungry, man. They give you that one last meal. I say you can have some fun with that last meal. I mean, if you work it right, they gotta give you whatever you want. I mean, short of elephant steak, you know? They don't want to start on a new elephant just for one guy. But they gotta give you pretty much what you want. That's part of the humanity of what they're going to do to you. Yeah, you could just order something, you know, like maybe, well, shit, you tell them you can't decide. That's it. I can't decide. I don't know. I don't know if I want steak or lobster, you know? I mean, I really love them both, and I honestly can't decide. Could they kill you? I don't think they could kill you if you honestly couldn't decide. Lie detector, truth serum, the man honestly doesn't know what he wants. We can't very well kill him. We can't drag him down the last mile screaming, I don't know what I want. You've got to give him a chance, and then well, man lives. Imagine if you worked it out and you kept it going 6 months. Man still alive, can't decide on meal. 3 years, 8 years, and then finally you're an honest person, so you tell them when you do figure it out. And you say, I've decided what I'd like. I think I'll have steak. Okay? How did you want that? Well, my feeling is if you're gonna die, you know, or if you know, hey, die big. Die big. Nobody wants to just pass away. You don't want to be a euphemism, do you? Nobody wants to pass away. You know, Arnie passed away. Oh, really? Yes. Well, I didn't know that. Well, that's the idea. On the other hand, Dave died. Oh, yes, I heard about Dave dying. That's true. I say die big. Give it a shot, man. Go out big. It's your chance. Die big. Work in a few posthumous reflexes for your friends. Give them a show before you go. Entertain and uplift and instruct those you are leaving behind. When you die, give them a few posthumous reflexes. You know, the body does store electricity up. There's a certain storage of electricity, and even a dead body, a corpse, will occasionally go... And I say, if you have that potential after you're dead, use it properly. Pre-program. Before you die, pre-program some posthumous reflexes that will be entertaining to those you've left behind. Do something to capture their imagination. Roll over on the autopsy table. That's nice. Cross your legs, scratch your balls, do something. Now, the only reason that I even suggest that you have a choice about what you can do at the moment of death is a very little known and very little understood part of the death process called the 2-minute warning. Many people are not aware of it at all. The 2-minute warning, just as in football. 2 minutes before you die, you receive an audible warning.
2 minutes, get your shit together.
The reason we don't know about it is because the only people who hear it die. And I don't think we'd believe someone anyway if he told us he'd received his 2-minute warning, would you? Some asshole on the bus?
Hey, I just got my 2-minute warning.
You'd think it was a coach out on the town. But no, the 2-minute warning does arrive. And I say use that time to entertain, to leave something behind. Do something with the 2 minutes. Hey, if nothing else, give a speech. Little 2-minute speech. We can all give a little 2-minute speech. Just pick some subject you're very fond of and talk about it for 2 minutes. I mean, tell them it's your last chance to tell them anything. So tell them, got 2 minutes, and I mean, wax eloquent, rise, bring it to the rafters, and then at the moment at the end you say, if this is not the truth, may God strike me dead.
As usual tonight, I've been doing a lot of complaining, a lot of criticizing, and people seem to like that. I thought maybe by now, you might be ready to hear about something I like. Would you want me to tell you about something I really, really like? Huh? Fatal disasters. Big fatal disasters with lots of dead people. Because I kind of like it when a lot of people die. Some people like macrame, some people like doing the mambo. Me, I like a nice train wreck. Fire in a paint factory, you know? Ship going down, plane blowing up, 500 guys trapped in a mine with no air, no water, and one little box of Junior Mints. I like that. It's exciting. To me, anything that kills a lot of people is exciting. You know the best thing I can hear on television? We interrupt this program. You know the worst thing I can hear? No one was hurt. Ah, shit, no one was hurt. I get depressed, you know? Because I'm always rooting for a really high death toll. That's why I like the natural disasters, the big natural disasters that no one can control. Tornado, hurricane, earthquake. Tornadoes are great because there's hardly any warning, you know? So you can get in there and fucking nail some people in their sleep. Another nice thing about a tornado, no one can find their cat. Which I think is fucking interesting. Then you got a hurricane. Hurricane is completely different because there's a lot of warning. So unfortunately, you don't get the really nice high fatality numbers. But on the bright side, it lasts a longer time, and you do get widespread property damage, which is always a good thing. Another nice thing about a hurricane, sometimes it'll change direction, you know? They come in, they hit one city, hit a fucking city, then they lose strength and you get discouraged. So they go back out over the ocean, pick up strength, they come back, nail another fucking city. So it's kind of like two for the price of one. Weather-wise, it's a good value. Now, earthquakes. You would think with an earthquake, here is a golden opportunity to put up some really big numbers. Fatality-wise, property-wise, it seems like it's a win-win situation all the way around. Trouble with these earthquakes is they never seem to hit downtown in a big city. And they're awfully weak. Have you noticed how weak these earthquakes in America? Out in California, these people, they get an 8.5, a 9.7. You know, it's pussy stuff. You know what they need in California? A nice big fucking 29. Yeah. Big, powerful fucking 29 there. Big city, downtown, rush hour. 10 years of aftershocks. Aftershocks averaging 18.6. No, 23.5. Give these laid-back assholes something to talk about on the beach while they're waiting for the Red Cross to come and pick them up. I like all that shit. Tidal wave, volcano, monsoon, forest fire, avalanche, a famine, huh? Come on, you can't beat a fucking famine. First of all, with a famine, you get to see Sally Struthers on television a whole lot more. But the best thing about a famine is it lasts a long time, sometimes more than one generation. So you could wind up with a couple of million dead motherfuckers, you know? To me, you can never have too many dead people. That's why, you know what my favorite disaster would be? And Jesus, I pray for one of these. An asteroid. A big fucking asteroid. And I mean big, never mind this shit that destroyed the barn. I'm talking about a big hunk of rock the size of Minnesota. A flaming asteroid the size of Minnesota screaming through the atmosphere and smashing right into... Hey, Minnesota, huh? What the fuck? You can never have too many dead people. And I don't care who gets killed. I don't care who it is. As long as it's not me. Or someone close to me. Although, to tell you the truth, if it's a nice big disaster, something good, the people close to me are on their own. Fuck them. It's not my responsibility. And I know what you're thinking. You're saying, well, that's all very cute and clever, George, but you'd feel a whole lot different if one of your loved ones ever got killed. And I think, no, I wouldn't. Not really. Maybe it'd be a little less fun than usual, but as long as a lot of other people died, I'd be fine. I'd get over it, because I really like big disasters. And I'm always hoping things get worse, you know? I'm always hoping no matter what the original problem is, it leads to bigger and bigger complications that get completely out of control. Like if a downtown water main breaks in a big western city and it floods out an electrical substation, causing a power failure that knocks out all the traffic lights, creates a citywide traffic jam, and emergency vehicles can't get through, you know? And at the same time, one of those month-long global warming heat waves comes along, but there's no air conditioning and no water for sanitation, so cholera, dysentery, smallpox, and typhoid fever break out, and thousands of people get infected and start dying in the streets. But before they die, parasites eat their brains, and so they storm the hospitals looking for treatment, and the hospitals can't handle all the emergencies. So the infected people start strangling the doctors and stripping off their clothing and lighting it on fire in a big pile in front of the hospital. And the flames drive them even crazier, so they start stabbing social workers and garbage men. And then they light the buildings on fire, and a huge wind comes along, and the entire city begins to burn. And then the people who aren't infected yet, the well people, they get pissed off, and they start beheading and burning at the stake all of the sick people, and breaking into their homes and trying on their underwear. Then everybody takes LSD and gets drunk, smokes PCP and crack, and they go completely out of their fucking minds, and they start defecating in the public library. And they march on City Hall and start butt-fucking each other in front of the statue of Samuel Gompers. And at this point, it appears that pretty soon things are going to get out of control. So everybody panics and tries to leave the city at the same time, and they trample each other to death on the highway by the thousands, and their corpses are eaten by wild dogs. And the wild dogs chase the rest of the people down the highway, and they pick off the slow ones and the old ones one by one because they're in the fucking fast lane. And the people, the lucky ones who manage to get all the way out of town, realize when they get there that big sparks from the city have lit the suburbs on fire, and the suburbs burn out of control. And thousands of identical homes have identical fires with identical smoke, killing all the soccer moms and guys named Todd. And the suburbs light the farmlands on fire, and the farms burn intensely at 400 degrees, creating millions of baked potatoes. And as the farms burn, the farmhouses and the barns begin to explode from all the hidden methamphetamine labs inside them. And the meth chemicals run down the hill into the streams and rivers where the wild animals drink the water and get completely geeked on speed. And as a result, bears and wolves, amped on crank, start roaming around the countryside looking for people to eat, even though they're not really hungry. And the fire spreads to the forest, and the forests burn intensely. And hundreds of trolls and elves and fairies come running out of the woods, screaming, "Bambi is dead, Bambi is dead." And he is. Finally, that fucking fruity little Bambi is dead. And now hundreds of regional fires come together into one huge interstate firestorm. And all 12 of the western United States are burning out of control, except Utah, where the Mormons don't allow fire. And as the firestorm reaches the Midwest, fierce 200-mile-an-hour winds push it across the Great Plains, toasting the wheat, cooking the cattle, and producing a strange hamburger smell. And now the fires leap the Mississippi and race through the South, destroying trailer parks and killing millions of inbred people. And finally, now the fires turn northeast and head for Washington, D.C., where George Bush can't decide if it's an emergency or not. So the fire goes to Philadelphia, but it's a weekend and Philadelphia is closed. So it goes to New York City, and the people in New York tell the fire to go fuck itself. And they do. So instead, the fire completely burns down Connecticut and Long Island, killing all the rich white assholes and destroying their evil, faggoty golf courses. And while all this is going on, Canada burns to the ground, but nobody notices it. And finally, the entire North American continent is on fire, producing a huge thermal updraft and creating an incendiary cyclonic macrosystem, a hemispheric megastorm that breaks down the molecular structure of the atmosphere and changes the laws of nature. Fire and water combine, burning clouds of flaming rain fall upwards, gamma rays and solar winds ignite the ionosphere, creating enormous clouds of ionized plasma. Lightning bolts 10 million miles long start shooting out of the North Pole, and the moon explodes, and outer space begins to vibrate and twist, and suddenly the entire fabric of space-time splits in two. A huge crack in the universe opens, and all the dead people from the past begin falling through. Babe Ruth, Tiny Tim, Groucho Marx, Davy Crockett, Hitler, Alan Ludden, Janis Joplin, your Uncle Dave, my Uncle Dave, everybody's Uncle Dave. An endless stream of dead Uncle Daves falling through the crack, and all the Uncle Daves gather around a huge heavenly kitchen table and light up cigarettes and start talking. They talk about how they never got a break, how their parents didn't love them, how they just missed out on a big job, how ungrateful their children were, and how the government screwed them out of money. They say the Jews own everything and the blacks get special treatment. And all of the hatred and bitterness drips out of them, a big pool of liquid hate, and the pool begins to spin. The hate pool spins round and round, faster and faster, and it begins to expand at a rapid rate, bigger and bigger, until the pool of hate is bigger than the original universe, and suddenly it explodes into millions of tiny stars, and each star has 1,000,000 planets, and each planet has 1,000,000 Uncle Daves, and all the Uncle Daves have good jobs, perfect eyesight, and brand new underwear. They all have shoes that fit perfectly, good medical plans, they all like their neighbors, and their favorite teams win the World Series every year, and none of them has a hacking cough. And each week, without fail, every one of the Uncle Daves wins the lottery. Every week, forever and ever, until the end of time, Uncle Dave has a winning ticket, and Uncle Dave is finally happy. Now do you see why I like it when a lot of people die? There you go. All righty. I'll see you later. Thank you very much. But say what you want about America, land of the free, home of the brave. We got some dumbass motherfuckers floating around this country. Dumbass motherfuckers, you know? Yeah. Now, obviously, that doesn't include this audience. I understand that. You seem intelligent and perceptive, but the rest of them, holy jumping fucking shitballs. Dumber than a second coat of paint. And this ain't just ranting and raving. This ain't just blowing off steam. I got a little evidence to support my claim. It just seems to me, that only a really low IQ population could have taken this beautiful continent, this magnificent American landscape that we inherited. Well, actually, we stole it from the Mexicans and the Indians, but hey, it was nice when we stole it. It looked pretty good. It was pristine. Paradise. Have you seen it lately? Have you taken a good look at it lately? It's fucking embarrassing. Only a nation of unenlightened half-wits could have taken this beautiful place and turned it into what it is today, a shopping mall. A big fucking shopping mall. You know that? That's all you got. That's all you've got here, folks. Mile after mile of mall after mall. Many, many malls. Major malls and mini malls. They put the mini malls in between the major malls. And in between the mini malls, they put the mini marts. And in between the mini marts, you got the car lots, gas stations, muffler shops, laundromats, cheap hotels, fast food joints, strip clubs, and dirty bookstores. America the Beautiful. One big transcontinental commercial cesspool. And how do the people feel about all this? How do the people feel about living in a coast-to-coast shopping mall? Well, they think it's just fucking dandy. They think it is cool as can be, because Americans love the mall. They love the mall. That's where they get to satisfy their two most prominent addictions at the same time: shopping and eating. Millions of semi-conscious Americans, day after day, shuffling through the malls, shopping and eating, especially eating. Americans love to eat. They are fatally attracted to the slow death of fast food. Hot dogs, corn dogs, triple bacon cheeseburgers, deep fried butter dipped in pork fat and cheese whiz, mayonnaise soaked barbecued mozzarella patty melts. Americans will eat anything, anything, anything. If you were selling sauteed raccoons' assholes on a stick, Americans would buy them and eat them, especially if you dipped them in butter and put a little salsa on them. This country is big time, pig time. Forget the bald eagle. You know what the national emblem of this country ought to be? A big bowl of macaroni and cheese. A big bowl, because everything in this country is king size. King size, extra large, and super jumbo, especially the fucking people. Have you seen some of the people in this country? Have you taken a good look at some of these big fat motherfuckers walking around? Big fat motherfuckers. Oh my God. Huge piles of redundant protoplasm lumbering through the malls like a fleet of interstate buses. The people in this country are immense, massive bellies, monstrous thighs, and big fat fucking asses. And if you stand there for a minute and you look at one of them, you begin to wonder, how does she shit? Can she even locate her asshole? She must require assistance. Are paramedics trained in this field? And standing right next to her, of course, with a plate full of nachos and a mouthful of pie, is her clueless fucking husband, Joe Sixpack, with his monstrous swollen beer belly hanging dangerously out over his belt buckle. This guy ain't seen his dick since the Nixon administration. And if you stand there and you look at the two of them, you begin to wonder to yourself, man, actually capable that these two people could achieve penetration. Maybe they're in that Cirque du Soleil or something. Telling you, the people in this country are every one of them is 50 pounds overweight. They are gargantuan. And in the summertime, God help us, in the summertime, they all want to wear short pants. Jesus, Lord, protector of all that is good and holy, deliver me from fat people in short pants. They all got short pants, big bellies, fat thighs, and dumb kids. Short pants, big bellies, fat thighs, and dumb kids. Every one of them's got 2 dumb-ass kids with them. And the whole family is wearing T-shirts, and every one of them's got the same T-shirt. I'm with stupid. Apparently in this country, the stupids are an extended family. And besides wearing them T-shirts, everyone in the family's got on a backpack. They got a backpack strapped to their back so they can carry around lots of stupid shit. And the reason they got to carry their stupid shit strapped to their backs is because their hands must remain free at all times to hold food. And to get that food up to the mouth where it gets shoveled in with all the rest of the disgusting shit they ate that day. And another reason for the backpacks is these people are going to buy even more stupid shit. They ain't got enough stupid shit at home. They just had a stupid shit sale. They ain't got to buy more. They're going to go out in the parking lot and stuff this stuff into the big, fat, ugly, oversized SUV that's got plenty of room in it. Plenty of room in it for stupid shit and lots of room left over for these big, fat, ugly motherfuckers to get them home. Stopping, of course, for jelly roll and fried dough. These people are efficient, professional, compulsive consumers. It's their civic duty. Consumption. It's the new national pastime. Fuck baseball. It's consumption. The only true, lasting American value that's left, buying things. Buying things. People spending money they don't have on things they don't need. Money they don't have on things they don't need. So they can max out their credit cards and spend the rest of their lives paying 18% interest on something that costs $12.50. And they didn't like it when they got it home anyway. Not too bright, folks. Not too fucking bright. But if you talk to one of them about this, if you isolate one of them, you sit them down rationally, you talk to them about the low IQs and the dumb behavior and the bad decisions, right away they start talking about education. That's the big answer to everything. Education. They say we need more money for education. We need more books, more teachers, more classrooms, more schools. We need more testing for the kids. You say to them, well, you know, we've tried all of that and the kids still can't pass the test. You say, don't you worry about that. We're going to lower the passing grades. And that's what they do in a lot of these schools now. They lower the passing grades so more kids can pass. More kids pass, the school looks good, everybody's happy, the IQ of the country slips another 2 or 3 points, and pretty soon all you'll need to get into college is a fucking pencil. Got a pencil? Get the fuck in there, it's physics. Then everyone wonders why 17 other countries graduate more scientists than we do. Education. Politicians know that word, they use it on you. Politicians have traditionally hidden behind 3 things: the flag, the Bible, and children. No child left behind. No child left behind. Oh, really? Well, it wasn't long ago you were talking about giving kids a head start. Head start, left behind? Someone's losing fucking ground here. But there's a reason. There's a reason. There's a reason for this. There's a reason education sucks, and it's the same reason that it will never, ever, ever be fixed. It's never going to get any better. Don't look for it. Be happy with what you got. Because the owners of this country don't want that. I'm talking about the real owners now. The real owners, the big wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets. And they own all the big media companies, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. They spend billions of dollars every year lobbying to get what they want. Well, we know what they want. They want more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. That's against their interest. That's right. They don't want people who are smart enough to sit around the kitchen table to figure out how badly they're getting fucked by a system that threw them overboard 30 fucking years ago. They don't want that. You know what they want? They want obedient workers. Obedient workers. People who are just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork, and just dumb enough to passively accept all these increasingly shittier jobs with the lower pay, the longer hours, the reduced benefits, the end of overtime, and the vanishing pension that disappears the minute you go to collect it. And now they're coming for your Social Security money. They want your fucking retirement money. They want it back so they can give it to their criminal friends on Wall Street. And you know something? They'll get it. They'll get it all from you sooner or later, because they own this fucking place. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club. And by the way, it's the same big club they used to beat you over the head with all day long when they tell you what to believe. All day long, beating you over the head in their media, telling you what to believe, what to think, and what to buy. The table is tilted, folks. The game is rigged, and nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care. Good, honest, hard-working people, white collar, blue collar, doesn't matter what color shirt you have on. Good, honest, hard-working people continue. These are people of modest means. Continue to elect these rich cocksuckers who don't give a fuck about them. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you at all. At all. At all. Yeah. You know? And nobody seems to notice, nobody seems to care. That's what the owners count on, the fact that Americans will probably remain willfully ignorant of the big red, white, and blue dick that's being jammed up their assholes every day. Because the owners of this country know the truth. It's called the American dream, because you have to be asleep to believe it.
What's that? We used to call you Gay Boy. Remember, you'd be fine, and then we'd call you Gay Boy. You'd just freak out.
We were calling you gay, and you got so mad you threw the hammer through the sliding glass door. You remember?
I don't remember that.
Yes, you do. We were calling you Gay Boy, and you got so mad. Are you gay now?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Trying to figure out why you had the hammer in the
Why did you have the wearing that suit?
I don't know.
Why have the hammer?
Thank you.
Are you using that dandruff shampoo I bought you?
Yes.
Barry, why do you have the hammer?
Why did I have the hammer?
He was building a dog house.
Oh, okay, Mama.
Happy
birthday.
Oh, cake. We have a cake.
You got a cake.
Hey, I was just thinking about you. Glad you could make it. Mr. Chatty. Hi, Mr. Chatty. You have rice in your hair. Did you say hello to your brother-in-law?
No.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing?
Let's go. Let's see. Come on.
Good to see you.
Saw your car up front, pretty snazzy.
Hey, Barry. How's it going?
Oh, I'm sorry.
How's it going? How's work?
Business is very food, thank you.
What's very food?
What's that?
You just said very food.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to say very good.
Maybe you said food because you're hungry. When eating.
That makes sense. Is your friend?
No. You're off the hook, Barry. You couldn't make it.
Thank you.
You nervous?
No.
You look nervous.
Feel very happy.
Good. Did you get your gym membership?
Tomorrow.
Hey, I had a girl I was gonna be for Barry. She wouldn't let me do it.
So I had this girl I was gonna bring to him, and she's told me we work together. Yeah. And he said that
Come on, gay boy, it's time to
he's
eat.
gonna be. I don't know. He's like, maybe it's just where they were gonna have a bunch of shit. He said he would come if I brought him. He did. He's such a fucking asshole. Why did he listen to you? Well, I don't know. I feel like it would have been like totally casual, you know? Like, I feel like it would have just been.
Now, no sensitive Catholic can say that without having grave doubts.
as to whether actually he isn't going to do some of these things again. So if you're a workaday Catholic, like a Mexican peasant or something like that, you know that the confession is just a safety valve. You're going to go on living just as lackadaisically as ever, but you go to church every so often and you get rid of the guilt and the evil. It's like going to the bathroom. But when you get thoughtful about these things and you wonder whether you do really mean what you say, whether your motive is pure and your intention is right, you get into a frightful hang-up. And one of the reasons that our technology is impeded and prevented from feeding the world properly is the failure of one of our networks. It's an information network, and it's called money, about which we have the most unbelievable superstitions and psychological blocks, which have been gone into at some length by Freud, who equates our valuation of money with our attitude to excrement, and a very complicated lot of complexes grow up around that. But money and our psychological attitude to money is a major obstacle to a proper development of technology, enabling it to do what it is supposed to do, that is, to save labor and to produce goods, services, and so on adequately. So I must introduce this with a story which is entirely legendary, indeed quite apocryphal. The great banks of the world at one time got absolutely sick of the expense and security measures involved in shipping consignments of gold from one bank to another. And so they decided that all the chief banks of the world would open offices on a certain island in the South Pacific, which was balmy and comfortable, and there they would store all the gold in the world. And they put it in great subterranean vaults reached by deep elevator shafts. And then all they had to do when one bank or one country owed gold to another was to trundle it across the street. And this was very efficient. And it went on beautifully for 5 or 6 years. And then the presidents of the world banks got together and said, let's have a convention out on this island and take our wives and families. So about 7 years from the date of opening, all those presidents and their wives and families went out to this Pacific island, and they inspected the books, and everything was beautifully in order. Then the children said, oh, Daddy, can't we see the gold? They said, of course you may see the gold. And they said to the managers, let's take our children down to the vaults and show them the gold. And the managers said, well, it's a little bit inconvenient at this time, and perhaps the children would not really be very interested. After all, it's just only old plain gold. And the president said, oh, no, come now. They'd be thrilled. Let's go down and see. And there was further humming and hawing and delays. And finally it came out that a few years before there had been a catastrophic subterranean earthquake. And all the vaults had been swallowed up and all the gold had disappeared. But so far as the bookkeeping was concerned, everything was in perfect order. What this means then is that money is nothing but bookkeeping. It is figures. It is a way of measuring what you owe the community and what the community owes you. It is, of course, as you all know, a substitute for barter. If you worked on a farm and the farmer paid you in terms of ears of corn, onions, cabbages, and other vegetables, and yet you wanted a pot and pan of some kind, and you took a few vegetables over to the man who so made pots and pans, and you swapped. Some people used cowrie shells to stand for money so that you wouldn't have to barter and carry around all these inconvenient loads of goods. And then, of course, gold was used, because gold was rare, and because gold was supposed to have a constant value. You might ponder the question, when a banker buys gold, with what does he pay for it? The answer is a mystery called credit. Because the amount of gold in the world did not provide an adequate channel for the circulation of goods and services, all great industrial nations went heavily into debt. But the reason for the increase of the national debt is extremely obvious. It is that with an expanding gross national product, there needs to be more and more money, that is to say, tokens of exchange, in order to circulate the amount of goods produced, which is ever increasing. Now, I'm not an economist, and I can refer you to the work of those who really are. But any fool can see certain extremely fundamental principles about this whole situation.
So, this is the thing to realize about this, which I realized after studying this for a little bit. But they're always asking, where will the money come from? And the fact is, what he's saying is new ways of producing or doing huge amounts of what's valued and what we need and want are being used and invented all the time. Not to see that production increases because of innovation is to expect that the prerequisite for building a new operation point as discovering a new gold mine or other resource, but that's not true. The opposite happened. All the physical resources got used up and got vacuumed up by the amount of value being generated as it's literally manifested into existence by these invention methods. So we write down money as a number to reflect that. And so as that amount of money goes up and up and up, you know, they say, well, that just decreases the value of everybody's currency. Mathematically, maybe so, but what it actually does is it makes all the money worth a much, much greater amount. It puts so much more wealth into the world that each money is worth more wealth now than it was before. And that's the thing no one is admitting. That's the thing that no one will admit, that the gold was lost. The new money, the new innovation has vacuumed up all the money that we started with. And so now the only thing left to do is issue it back out as a token credit in the recognition that the only value being generated now is completely automatic. And that's just not happening. Upon studying Alan Watts, it occurred to me that social order is a circle. That is the ultimate final math about money. Theft is a straight line, it's a dead end that leads to nowhere. The circle is necessarily the definition of the value feeding back into the start point. Otherwise, it's not value. Society can't value what doesn't flow back into itself. We don't value that. Now, basic income is the reintroduction of the circle. Once you take away spending power out of the monopolistic hands of the industries who have perpetuated the dead-end straight line, all companies who do not adapt to that and who do not adopt a sustainable, possible labor system, i.e. those who try to jack up their prices like the landlords have done, those entities will fail very, very quickly once everybody has the spending power of a basic income system that properly honors the circle model. They will just simply fall away. Only those who adapt to everybody having spending power again, being the monopoly over the demand taken away from the big straight line theft tycoons, will go forward. And those ones will be doing amazing. They will get all the benefit of the social spending on what's actually valuable. That's the fix. The circle is reintroduced with basic income.
Turn back. Turn back from this cave. You said, let me prove that I'm brave. Let me keep going. But the cave goes for miles and miles and miles. And you're so tired, but I know that you're strong. So turn back, turn back.
The thing is that we have been educated to use our minds in a certain way, a way that ignores or screens out the fact that every one of us is an aperture through which the whole cosmos looks out.
YouTube.